And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to finally welcome the incredible Kellye Garrett to the show tonight, here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new red hot book, Like a Sister, out tomorrow. And we're going to talk all about it tonight in this very special pre-launch event. So in Like a Sister, I'm going to give you the skinny, this tense, twisting mystery. So says the incredible Megan Miranda, no one bats an eye when a Black reality TV star is found dead, except her estranged half-sister, whose refusal to believe the official story leads her on a dangerous search for the truth. Ooh, Kellye, you hooked us good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Also, I have to say, I put Sara on this box. I was like, I don't want to describe my book, so can you do it? And I literally gave her that right before we started. So you did a good job reading that. So thank you.
Well, I loved reading it, and I loved reading the actual book too. And Kellye, I can't wait to get into every delicious detail of this book, which mystery book reviewer Oline Cogdill predicts will be the big book of the year. And I couldn't agree more. It is that good, y'all. It is that good. So, Kellye, we're going to talk all about this. So I just want to welcome everybody. We are broadcasting live to 6 destinations tonight. So wherever you're watching from, Facebook, YouTube, you're in the right place. This is the right time. Get your questions going for Kellye. In the comments, I'll get them right over to us. ShayWithTha Hobbies. Welcome back, girl. Always having you here. So Shay says she is so excited. Oh my goodness. Tracy Clark is in Tracy. Hi, Tracy. I've had the pleasure of hosting Tracy twice.
And Faye, right? I know I saw the one with Faye.
She's amazing. Yes, and she came on when Runner came out last year. Tracy, welcome. I always appreciate having you here. Kellye, what gave you the idea for this crazy book?
So it was actually a Daily News headline. And so the first line of Like a Sister is, I found out my sister was back in New York from Instagram. I found out she died from the Daily News. And so it actually was a headline. It was a pregnant reality star found dead in the Bronx with cocaine and no pants. And that's where I got the idea, because I thought the headline was really disrespectful. It was about a Black woman. I felt like they would never have done that for like Kim Kardashian. And I was just kind of like, though, how did this glamorous reality star go from partying it up in downtown Manhattan to dying alone on a street corner in the Bronx? And I was walking down the street one day and I go, oh, she went to see her estranged sister and never made it. So that's the POV of the book. It's from the estranged sister who feels guilty and wants to know what happened in the last 2 years to make her sister need to see her at 5 a.m. and not make it. So,
ooh, oh my gosh. So I actually was going to read that first line here on air, because it is so tantalizing and so crazy. The idea of learning that your sister is A, back in New York, and B, has tragically died as a headline in the New York Daily News, right, can be so viscerally shocking. So I can't believe that was that really happened.
Yeah, it was a Daily News headline. It's not about the woman who passed away, Lyric McHenry, who by all accounts was amazing. But the idea of that headline and that article kind of just really stuck with me. So,
wow. Monica says this sounds fantastic.
That's my aunt. Hi, Monty. Hi.
Monica, it is fantastic. It is she knows.
She's just trying to pretend like she's not my aunt.
You just outed her, Kellye. Why? You should have just gone with it.
Oh my God. Funny story. When she originally did a review on Goodreads, she gave it like 1 star by accident. And so I totally told my mom. I was like, Auntie gave me 1 star.
So then did she go back and correct it Thanksgiving dinner? Okay.
She got guilted into giving it 5.
Monica, we're watching you.
Exactly.
Shay says you gotta love the supportive fam. Absolutely. Christina Powers, Bookstagram Extraordinaire.
Hi, Christina.
Christina is a politically read girl. Christina, so great to have you here. Monica says she absolutely will give it 5 stars. So Kellye, in the book, you move it from a street corner onto a playground where she has died. And then you flash back to when she is celebrating her 25th birthday, a baby, just a young lad, a young girl. And we see her posing for the camera with her flawless skin and drinking water in the hotel glasses with her friend heading out for the night. And her estranged half sister is then wondering, why would she come uptown? The sister not wanting to go ever below 110th. I loved that detail because you just totally get her energy and her vibe. So why? And then I also love the relationship between the sisters and her dad, their dad and her stepmom. What was the idea behind that?
I think family dynamics are tricky, and I know, especially father-daughter dynamics. So her dad is a guy named Mel Pierce, who is like a kind of like a noted hip hop mogul, who kind of like, you think about like the guys from the 90s who are now like these businessmen and they have like billions of dollars and they're like, accepted by everybody. But like, 30 years ago, they were not. And so when he got successful, he ends up leaving Lena's my main character's mother for Desiree's mother. And Lena always felt like when he left her mom, he also left her. And, now that she's older and he's more back in her life, she kind of keeps him at arm's length, and I just find that really fascinating because I know people like that where the dad kind of came back into their lives when they got older. And I've seen how that relationship can be. So I wanted to kind of explore that in the book, and I've been talking about obviously this book a lot lately, and the book's told from the first person point of view of Lena. So in her mind, and she even says it, Mel's the villain in her life. She even calls him Mel. Yeah. But I think in Mel's point of view, he's a good father because he's always paid the bills and taken care of her financially, where she needed him to be there physically
and emotionally. Another tantalizing detail was that Mel, the dad, left her mom for her mom's best friend who had gotten her a job as a secretary in Mel's office.
Label, yeah.
That was a fascinating and shocking, unexpected detail. The idea that that because then Lena's mom always felt betrayed by her friend, which of course she did.
She's bitter, yeah, she's a little bitter.
But Lena kind of likes her stepmom, but she also feels loyal to her mom. What was the idea behind that?
I mean, I didn't want to do like an evil stepmom, such like a caricature, stereotypical thing, and she's not she's a nice, like the stepmother's nice, and Lena, she's been nice to Lena. So I wanted to kind of explore that. But of course, Lena feels guilty for liking her. And she feels like she betrayed her mom a little bit, which I think is an interesting thing. And I think people probably deal with a lot. So.
Exactly. Now, the original headline where they talk about the reality TV star being found with cocaine in her system and with no pants on was shocking, disrespectful, horrifying. And Katcha Clue is saying so disrespectful and disgusting. Did they ever correct it?
If you're from New York, you know that the New York Post and the New York Daily News are known for their headlines, and like they do very like risque. Like I think I used to work for the Daily News. That's my first job out of school, but mine just is 20 years ago, my first job out of college. And I think the one I remember the most is when Bill Clinton wasn't impeached. It was close but no cigar. That was the headline that they used. So like that's the kind of headlines the Daily News is known for. So so I don't think it's necessarily surprising when the Daily News, like the New York Times would never do that, but it just was so like blunt and disrespectful. And I think someone even kind of pointed out like she probably just had like a slip dress on, but of course they say no pants on when it's just like a short dress, but idea like no pants. It's just ridiculous. So.
Right. Yeah. I confess that I am not above looking at the headlines of the New York Daily News and being sort of entertained and tantalized, not by that one, but by other ones. I remember when Donald Trump was running, they had a headline that said "grab them by the," and then it had 3 cats, and
and they're
they're funny and clickbaity. You know, it's like you
Yes.
want to buy it, you want to click it, you want to read that.
But they've been clickbaiting before there was clickbait, and used to just be like you'd have to actually pick a newspaper up. That's why they would have their headlines like that, so you'd want to buy the newspaper. So.
Exactly. Shay with the hobby saying we call that shiesty, right?
I love the word shiesty. I love that word shiesty. It's definitely
I'm going to be using that. I love that. Sweet. Talise saying, hi all. Hi, Kellye. She's so excited for this release. Welcome to the conversation. We are all so excited for this release. Everybody, thank you for Shannon Hanson. Welcome to the conversation saying, I'm so excited for this book. Shannon, it is so, so great. So I just remind you all, it's not even out yet. So I'm going to pop a link in the comments. Everybody, pre-order it tonight. It's coming out tonight. So pre-order tonight, y'all. And the good folks at Murder by the Book will pop it in the mail to you tomorrow, and you can be reading this book because
and they're like the most supportive group of people.
Yes.
Like, I love them so much. So definitely support them. So
yay. Yes, because we want to support woman-owned independent bookstores. And we're here to support Murder by the Book. So grab your copy. Here's the link. Click over, order it. You will love Lena as much as we do. And let us know what you think about it. So Kellye, this book is earning all the praise and deservedly so. Christina saying she absolutely loved the audiobook, paired physical book with the audiobook. Let's talk about the voice, Kellye. Did you get input into it? Did you like the voice
of the audiobook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Bonnie Turpin, and so she did I have a series that I wrote, the Detective by Day series. So she read those books. So I was familiar with her, and she's done like a lot of really well-known books like The Hate You Give. And so I just was so thrilled when I found out that she would wanted to do it, and she did. She did a great job with Lena. It's always tricky though when you like obviously Lena has been in my head for 4 years now, and so it's always interesting to hear a different interpretation of the book. So and also how she thinks the other characters sound. Because I realize this is funny. I'm Black. I write Black characters, and I don't always, in my mind, if I don't say a character's race, they're Black.
Mm-hmm.
But I realize that not everyone's like that. So there's a couple characters that Bonnie reads not Black, but I was like, oh, I should have probably been a bit more clear that that's a Black person. So it's like small things like that I kind of find interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And that's sort of an interesting larger point, because when a white author doesn't note the Black.
That's the default. That's the default, right?
It's just the default. And the reader probably by and large assumes that the character is white. So it's interesting that this narrator would not make that same assumption.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember Laura Lippman, who's a legend, and I just love her. She, in her book Sunburn, she was saying that there are some characters in that book that are Black, that she never said they're Black, and so people never realized it. So it's funny how it works, right? Like the default is always white in America. So
yeah, exactly. And Laura is a legend. She came on the show when her last book came out, and she's fantastic. And Laura had a lot to say about your book, raving. Kellye Garrett, a breakout star in crime fiction since her debut, has upped the ante with her latest Like a Sister, a traditional mystery set in the world of reality TV and Instagram influencers. It is equal parts charm and heartbreak, with razor sharp insights on race, class, and family. I'm happy to know Kellye Garrett is just getting started. I can't wait to see what she does next. So it says the incredible New York Times bestselling Laura Lippman. Kellye, congratulations on that amazing blurb.
That was my first blurb too. I remember I was so nervous to ask her. She was the first person to give me a blurb, so it was such an honor.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. So let's talk about that blurb. So let's talk first about upping the ante. Do you try to up the ante with every book? Do you try to do better, or do you-
I mean, I hope so. I hope I get better. I think well, I'm definitely a better writer than I was 5 years ago when like the first one, Detective by Day Hollywood Homicide, came out, and I hope that right now my first drafts are literally the worst things on the planet. They suck so bad. I call them vomit drafts. So the book I'm working on now is definitely not better at this point, but I'm hoping that it gets to the point where it's as good or as better than Like a Sister. I always want to do better, I think. So
do you think that you're better now than you were 5 years ago, sheerly by the practice of doing it over and over and over again? Or is there something that you thought to yourself, I want to level up in this. I want to, work on this?
I think I just know mechanics because I was coming from a screenwriting background. And so I was writing, I think I know the mechanics of novels more, and also just certain things where I think I would I didn't trust the reader enough in the first book, Hollywood Homicide. And I think in Like a Sister, I trust the reader more. I don't feel like I have to over explain things. So it's funny. I just got my rights back for the day books. And so I self-published them in December. They're available on Amazon. And I had to reread them. And I don't like to reread myself because I always want to edit myself. And so it was interesting to read some myself, because I started the book in 2011, to read that writer version of me and to see what choices I made. And some things I still thought were really funny. And some things are like, oh, I'll never get. So it's interesting how it works. I'm sure when I read Like a Sister, hopefully in 5 years, I'll think the same thing. So.
That is very interesting.
Margaret, you type really fast, Sara.
I try, Kellye. My little fingers are flying as fast as they can, and I'm also trying to maintain.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why I noticed you always do really good. Like as you're writing, I'm like, she's good because she also like types and listens and asks questions and everything. So.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Margaret is saying, what about fever drafts?
So, vomit drafts.
Vomit drafts. Here, I'm going to pop that up. My first drafts are literally the worst thing ever. I call them vomit drafts. I am going to put that on my wall because I think I always feel so bad about mine. So this is so helpful. Okay, we are so many great questions or comments are coming in. Thank you all so much. I'm going to get to every single one of them. Monica Scott, does it change the storyline with a white voice instead of a black? Great question.
Well, Auntie, I think that I don't write books based on race. However, I write books about Black women, so it'd be very unrealistic not to have things like microaggressions in the book. Like I have a whole sequence where she goes to Pennsylvania, to a place that she's never been before. That's slightly based on where my cousin lives, but I changed the name. I made her realize like this, I don't know this area. And she even makes this kind of line, like she knows that the number of Black people in a location by how big the Black hair care section is in the drugstore. And she's like, this is like a 1/8 of an aisle place, and like realizing that she should have prepared for that because it's just a little different. You don't know what you're going to get into when you're the only Black person in a room, And so, so there's certain things like that. She has an encounter with a cop, which is a fine encounter, but when she first sees him, she doesn't know what to do. And she kind of does the rules that all Black parents tell their kids, like, put your hands on the wheel, don't make any sudden movements, don't talk back. So things like that, which again, it's not a book about race, but there's going to be things like that in there because it is a Black American experience. So.
I love that. Now let's delve a little bit deeper. So when you're writing that, how do you find the balance so that as you said, you want to trust the reader, as you just said, you don't want to over explain, but you do want your reader and your audio narrator to know which characters are Black. So how do you know you're getting that right?
I mean, I feel like usually I kind of say it, or maybe I'll describe it. I also suck at describing people. I'll talk about their skin being brown or whatever, and also I hopefully by cultural references, because I think Black American culture is its own subset culture. I obviously I don't always nail it, especially in the characters who aren't the main characters are just in a couple scenes. But again, that made me realize, like me as a writer, like with this new draft, like I have to make sure I'm clear on what people's races are in my head. So
I love what you just said about the hair care section, because it's so true. When you go into the different pharmacies and you can, I look at the hair care section in the magazines, and that gives you a vibe on.
Right. I didn't think about looking at the magazine. That's a good idea.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Shay says the way hybrid reading is the only way I read now. Bonnie Turpin is top tier. Yay.
It's funny, more people are reading audiobooks than they were 5 years ago, and it's great because you can multitask. Like I started reading them beginning of the pandemic when I was trying to actually walk and exercise every day. Like I'd walk and I'd listen to audiobooks. I knew if it was a good audiobook if I walked extra because I wanted to hear what was going on, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Yasmin Ungo's here. Hi, Yasmin.
Yes.
Hey. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to have you here. I hosted Yasmin this fall when her book came out. She's like, can't wait.
Her name is Night. And there's a new one coming out, and she's sneak peeked me the cover, and it's so pretty. So you guys are in for a special moment when you see it.
I can't wait because Her Name is Night had a gorgeous cover, and I loved how there were the sunglasses and the reflection and the reflection.
No, that was Wanda.
Oh, Wanda, that was Wanda. All Her Little Secrets. Okay, Her Name is Night is about the woman who becomes an assassin in London. Sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. But Her Name is Night also had a gorgeous cover because I love those
orange. Yeah, it was
red and orange. They're my favorite colors. She says, I can't wait to get my hands on the audio. I already read the book and I loved it through and through. Yay. Yasmin, tell us what you loved about it in the comments.
Don't worry about that. Yes.
I love Yasmin and I loved Her Name is Night. So I want to know what she loved about this book. Monica says, honey, I am so
Monica, hi. That's not my auntie. That's another Monica.
Yay. She said, get ready for this thirst trap book. I'm about to tomorrow.
I'm so excited for tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think Monica, drop your link in the comments. I think we all need to follow Monica because I know I want to see the thirst trap books. The thirst trap IG books does that she's going to drop tomorrow. Margaret's saying, oh, yes, we're all feeling that. Christina says you set a ton that touched on these topics that are in focus now. And as a reader, I was like, yes, and thank you. I really appreciated the richness of the book, but it had a delicate balance of hefty topics such as mental health and its assumptions. Let's talk about this. Kellye, take it away. Mental health and its assumptions. So
this is the second person who asked me about mental health. And I think it's funny. I don't think I necessarily was like, I want to address mental health, but I think it just felt like natural to me. And kind of looking at, I think you see it most with Desiree, who's the sister. And I think with Instagram it's such a filter. I call it's filtered in more ways than one, where you put your best self. Like right now, even this pic, like this angle, I look great. If I flip the camera, you'd see how messy this hotel room is right now. And so kind of realizing that what Desiree has portrayed, this is what Lena realizes, what Desiree has portrayed on Instagram and what she sees is not really what's going on. She has a lot going on. She's obviously at a really low point, at a point. There was a question if she maybe had just died by suicide, and then talking about how Black women also, we don't commit suicide. We have a very low suicide rate, and why. Mm-hmm. And so little things like that, which I didn't set out to talk about mental health, but it just felt very organic to me with this story. So.
Ooh, I love that because I think so much we all feel social media, right? It's a highlights reel. We know that logically, but it's hard to remember when you go in and see people posting beautiful photos from beautiful locations and perfect angles. And I got 2 ring lights on me right now and a face.
I just would.
But it's hard to remember. So when I liked how you showed the fallacy of social media of Desiree clinking glasses at this fabulous hotel and heading out for 25 and being also fabulous, but yet, struggling when the camera was off or the phone was down. Because I think we all feel less than, especially when we look at other people's highlights reel.
So easy. And then you're always surprised. I remember was it a Miss USA recently just died by suicide. And even the last photo she posted was this gorgeous picture, and she said something like, "May you find rest and peace, and find peace today." And the things like that, where you just look at her. I was looking at her Instagram, and it's just all these beautiful photos, and she's beautiful. Even if she talks a little bit about mental health, it's still just these gorgeous pictures, and you just never know. You just never know what's going on with someone. So be kind to each other for sure.
Yes, I think I thought a lot about that. I think a lot of people when she, jumped from the 37th, we're talking of course about Chesley Christ. Is it Christ or Christ?
I don't know.
Christ. Okay. When she jumped from the 37th floor of her building in Midtown Manhattan at 7 a.m., I remember being so shocked because of course I went to her Instagram and here is this, achingly beautiful woman with her perfect, beautiful face and her perfect features and her gorgeous hair. And she is just a vision. And she's a Miss Universe, for God's sake, and an Emmy award-winning journalist and an Entertainment Tonight reporter. And I sat with that for weeks. How could this happen? And here's her gym selfie, and she's, got this perfect body and the perfect outfits and an apartment in New York, and just and
you just never know. You just never know what's going on with people. So you just never know.
Very lonely she must have been, and the differential between what she was putting out and what she was feeling must have been horribly, horribly lonely, and to be in that space. I know I thought about that a lot. So thank you for that wonderful question, Christina, and Kellye. Thank you for the wonderful answer. Yasmin says, yes, she loves that answer. Yasmin, it is such a pleasure to have you here. And everybody, I'm putting the link for Yasmin's book in there too. You can see her gorgeous cover with fabulous Nina Knight, just in her flowing, gorgeous, high fashion, haute couture. Grab that as well. Okay. Margaret saying, ooh, the juicy background details. Let's talk more about Mel, the music executive, and his first wife. He never married Lena's mom. That was the big thing. He wasn't the marrying kind.
Right. Until he married someone else. That's how it always works.
I think we all felt that, right? Because when I thought that, I thought, and because of course we've all heard some sort of version of, I can't give this to you, but that's not you. It's just me. And then bam, he ends up with your best friend and has a baby with her and marries her. What made you, what did you want to get at with this? That just the imperfection of family that we're all.
And I think when it comes to there's a subplot with family, like it's Mel, like Mel and Lena, and their relationship is the subplot. Like Lena's, her mother's last name is Scott. She changes, my mom's last name is Scott too. She changes her name formally and after high school because her dad doesn't come to her graduation, and that's a whole like subplot of like, I'm not a Pierce. Her dad's last name is Pierce. I'm not a Pierce. I'm a Scott. I'm not a Pierce.
I love that. I mean, just
kind of represents her rejection of trying to reject her family.
Yeah. I mean, even I loved how you had her call him Mel, because just from that one small detail, it says so much about how she feels about him and their relationship. Shannon says the cover is amazing. It is absolutely gorgeous. Kellye, let's hold up our covers.
My red light's ruining it. Okay, there.
Okay, I'm sorry. It is absolutely gorgeous. So we have a broken wine glass spilling onto this, this surface. We have a diamond necklace. So immediately we're getting the lavishness, the fabulousness, but then what's behind it? Is this the first cover? Did you love it? Give us.
Yes, I gave them 8-page single space with suggestions, and they did what they wanted. But it's okay because it's beautiful. It's probably better than I would have imagined. I wanted to be someone with a selfie. I wanted it to be Desiree's selfie, but this is like even better than that. And I think the original thing did not have a broken wine glass, so they did that for me. And I love that you don't know if this is blood or wine.
Yes. It is a gorgeous cover. I also read that women are more attracted to red book covers than any other color. So it's my favorite color. So it is out there. I love that. Shannon, thank you for the great comment and question. Margaret saying yes, and trusting the reading. Okay, so we're back to giving the reader subtle hints and not so, and clues. So how do you meet that out so that you don't make the reader feel duped, but you don't give it away too soon?
It's tricky. Like that's all I can say. Like I don't want to, like, I could give you my secrets and then I have to ruin the book for you. But it's so tricky because I think to me, like, that's a good ending especially when it comes to murder mysteries of like, oh, I'm surprised that person did it, but now that I think about it, it makes sense. And I my favorite book is B is for Burglar by Sue Grafton, and I think that has such a great twist ending, and that's how I felt every time I read it. I'm like, I'm surprised, but it makes sense that this is what happened. So,
that's so interesting. Shay saying, exactly, I've crocheted so many blankets listening to audiobooks.
I have never crocheted a blanket, so I need to, maybe that's a good hobby I can have. I need to find more of Shay's hobbies so I can steal.
Yeah, well, Shay is ShayWithTha Hobbies. So when you go over to her, YouTube and her Instagram, she's just creating away.
These they're beautiful too.
Yeah, they're really beautiful. I don't know how to crochet. I know I can knit, but only like the basic one. So Shay's slaying that.
I've never I took home ec in like 6th grade. Ever since then, I've never tried to do anything. Like my not my aunt who's here, but another aunt who just moved to St. Pete. Whenever I needed something like sewed, I'd be like, Auntie, can you sew this for me?
I can sew it for you. I can also.
Okay, I'll start sending stuff to you.
Perfect. Yasmin says, "Howdy, y'all are my girls." Oh, Yasmin, you're our girl. I love you. I love you, Yasmin. I think you are just everything. Margaret saying, "Hey to Shay." Yasmin saying, "Like a Sister has a beautiful and provocative cover that snatched me up." By the neck.
It's so funny because Yaz and Wanda and I are good friends, and then Rachel Housel and I are good friends, and Alyssa Cole and I are good friends. And so I just got the cover for the next book, and of course the first thing I did was send it to them because God, what do you think? Is this the Black Girl approval?
Hashtag Black Girl approval. Yes. Hey, yes. And Rachel, I hosted when her book came out, These Toxic Things this summer, and she's coming back in July.
I finished her new one. I forgot what it's called, but it's really good.
I haven't got
but of course it's Rachel Housel, so it's really good.
I love her. Shay saying, question, what were the biggest differences with going on submission with a draft versus a proposal? Okay, so give us the skinny.
The great thing is that it's not done, so if it doesn't sell, you didn't waste your time. But my agent did a hell of a job where we had a 200 plus page proposal because I had written most of the book before giving up and be like, just try to sell it. And the tricky thing is you have to submit a synopsis with it so they know that you're not going to screw it up. Like once you finish, they buy it, and you have to finish it. And I think for me, when you're writing and you're not on contract, it feels different because it's just for you. But once you have a contract and you literally have gotten a check and you know that your book is due a certain time and a bunch of people are depending on it, that just is a different vibe for me. So it can be harder. And that's maybe just me because I know like Alex Segura just so he sold a proposal. I think Gigi Pondian sold a proposal, and they had a different experience. But for me, I felt it was like a lot of pressure too. But luckily, I have an amazing editor, Helen O'Hare, who held my hand through the process. So.
And Kellye, I feel like we're maybe the rest of us are missing a little bit of the story. So had you always submitted drafts before, and this one you did a proposal, or you always did proposals, or how has it
okay, worked? So for the most part, if you're a debut, you usually have to. Debuts don't sell a proposal. You have to write the whole book, and then you submit the whole book to an editor, and they buy it. When you get more established, you can, or if you have been with your editor for a long time, you can just say, here is 50 pages, 100 pages, and the synopsis, and they will buy your book based on that. So that's what selling a proposal is.
So you sold. So with the first one, you did the whole.
I feel like Shay must have saw my Instagram because I didn't mention it here that I sold a proposal, but yeah, I sold a proposal in June of 2020. I finished it in February of 2021.
Okay, so you came up with the idea in June of 2020.
No, we sold it. I came up with the idea in 2018. Okay. We sold it in 2020 on 200 pages, and then I finished it a year ago.
Okay. So you came up with the idea in 2018. It took you 2 years to write the 200-page proposal.
Correct. That's why we sold our proposal.
Then you sold it off proposal in June 2020, and then it took you how long to write the book from that 200-page proposal?
I think I finished the last draft in about a year ago, and then we announced in May 21. So I'd finished more. I did 2 drafts after we sold it because my editor had really good notes on it. So it's a long process. I think people think, oh, you're going to sell your book today and next week it's out on shelves, and it's not. It's 2 years for me. It could be at least a year usually. So.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Shay, thank you so much for the great comment and great question. May Cobb, welcome to the
Yay! Hi!
Yay! May's coming on this spring with her book. I can't wait.
She and I are both on Midnight Ink together. We're both survivors, I'll say.
Yay! Wonderful. I saw May, you posted about that as well this week. So it's so wonderful to see you both thriving. Shay saying she misses the day when Instagram was more spontaneous and not so heavily curated. Wait, was there a time when it was that heavily curated?
I think when it first happened, remember you just would like post your like, it was literally instant gram, right? So you would post your like food pictures and your photos. And I think I think filters, now that I'm thinking about it, filters might have ruined Instagram, even though they make us all look gorgeous, because all of a sudden now every picture, it just can't be you. You have to like take the filter and make sure it looks a certain way, right?
Yeah, my goal right now is to look as good in real life as I do with my filters. That's my only quarrel with StreamYard is I'm not filtered. I miss the day.
All you have to do is this is me with the contour. You just contour your face.
Oh my God, well, you look fabulous.
I don't like this regularly. So.
Oh my gosh. Shannon would like to know, what are you doing for your release tomorrow? So Kellye, how are you celebrating? Tell us.
I did take off work, so there's that. So I'll be working a little bit. I am going to lunch with my editor and my agent and my publicist, and who I've never met my editor and my publicist before. So I'm excited to meet them in person. And then my friend Liz got me some champagne, so I'll probably crack that open.
So can we expect to see a selfie with you?
Yes, taking it to the head.
Oh my gosh, Kellye,
it'll be water.
You should reenact that Desiree
yes.
in the hotel room in New York. Yes. I mean, you could reenact that Desiree moment for us. It would be so fabulous. Yasmin saying, Kellye knows I love her character's voice and how she writes them so well that we know them personally. Yes. Exactly, Yasmin. I felt like I knew Lena. I felt like I was Lena. What a beautiful thing to say, and it's so true. Kellye does that so well. May Cobb saying, hey, Sara and Kellye, congrats. Kellye, I have to know, how did you know from the outside of writing who the killer was?
Usually I do know the killer. And it
did you know? Not how did you know? Did you know?
Usually it helps me to write towards it because I'm actually what they call a plotter, a super outliner, because the blank page scares me. So I tend to know who the killer is. I tend to also always know the bigger story reveals and beats. And then I give myself permission to change how I get to those beats. But I usually start with an outline, and I do know who did it. So.
And Kellye, you have a background in screenwriting. So for the rest of us, can you tell us what a beat means?
Oh my gosh, I'm just slipping to the lingo. A beat is a plot point. So it's like with TV, it's usually a scene. And so like I might be like, oh, there's, I don't know, like 10 beats between the commercials. That's 10 scenes. So that's some insider info for you guys. This is a plot point.
Well, we're here for the insider info, Kellye. That's what we're here for. Christina saying this cover is just so stunning. It really is, Christina, right? Isn't it so beautiful? I love it. I love everything about it. Red's my favorite color. It's just so gorgeous. Margaret saying 8 pages single spaced of suggestions. So let's talk about when you submitted.
Also with pictures. I had pictures of things I liked and did not like as well. And the best part is I told them I didn't like skinny fonts, and then they gave me a bigger font and I didn't like it, so they ended up using a skinny font, which has actually looked a lot better. So I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time.
So Kellye, what were some of those single page notes? Were you like, I want it with a selfie, I want it blue? I mean, what were they?
I was not that bad. I didn't do colors, but I remember I wanted it to kind of convey the book is not, because this is people consider it domestic suspense, but it's not like a white woman in the suburb domestic suspense, which is, very popular. And so I wanted to make sure the cover kind of conveyed that it's not like it's not going to be the kind of domestic suspense that you expect. It's going to be kind of a sexy urban book with like in a city. And so I think that they did that. To me, it says like sexy and glam. It's a glam book in my humble opinion. Yeah. And I do like colors. I like strong, bold colors. But like I said, my original idea was for it to be a selfie of Desiree, and it didn't happen, but it turned out to be better. So sometimes, what you want, you don't even know it's better than what you think.
I love that. And it's so true, because I think we all have the desire to be like, this is what I want, but then, maybe you have
to trust, like they're the professionals. I don't design covers for a living. I've seen a lot of them, and I have to trust. I trust the team who went to school and who studied this and have done this before, what they think is the best. And you have to trust your team. That includes everyone, my marketing person, my publicist, my editor. I trust them.
So I'm interested when you said, so domestic suspense usually means a white lady in the suburbs. That's so interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that that's what that usually conveyed. So
That's when you think of like a domestic
Yeah.
suspense novel, a lot of them, and it's like, someone's usually missing. It's like it could be their husband's missing, or their kids missing, or their sister's missing. They're missing, and so that and I'm not trying to knock that, because I love those books, but there's not a lot of diversity in domestic suspense. I think that there are certain reasons why there's not a lot of diversity, because I think that setup is going to be different for a Black woman. Like if I, as a Black woman, am in the suburbs and my child disappears, I'm not going to be treated with the same, I'm not going to be treated more as a victim, with the same empathy than I think other people are, just because I'm a Black woman. That's just me. That's a fact. That's a fact. You might not want to admit that's a fact. That's a fact. And so I think that's the reason why you don't see a lot of it. I know like Kate Houlihan writes, she's the Black woman who writes domestic suspense, and she, her last book, which the name is, I'm totally forgetting the name of it, but it came out last year, and she kind of hints at that, the microaggressions and the racism that happens with a Black woman in that situation. So definitely check that book out too.
Absolutely. And it's not just the suburbs, right? It's also the city. So in Tracy's book, Runner, we see a Black woman, her certainly not mother of the year, right? Her daughter's been taken from her. She's in foster care. But when she what turns out to be not such it seems at first to be, is supposed to be the best foster, this dream home with the canopy bed and the princess room, but maybe not everything is as it seems. But when that daughter goes missing, the police are not taking it as seriously as if a white girl was missing. And her mother then hires Cass Raines, Tracy's amazing PI character, to find her. And one really powerful moment is when they're sitting in the diner, and Cass says, well, why don't you go to the police? Why don't you, have you filed the report, follow up with them? And she says, they don't treat us the way they do, the way they do the others. They're not going to look for my daughter the same way. And it was such a moment of, just a powerful moment of what this is like.
Right. And it's microaggressions
Microaggressions and racism and the unfairness of the system, and who's believed and whose cases are moved on faster.
Right.
Which Tracy illustrated so powerfully and so beautifully. Yay. Thank you so much for the comment. Tracy says, we want the secrets.
I'll message you later, Trace. Tracy, you give me your secrets. You're fine. You don't need my help. Tracy has a book coming out, I think, end of the year, and it's her first standalone, which I'm excited about. I was trying to get more information. She won't tell me. Talk about secrets.
I got a little information.
Okay, you got to share with us.
I will. And Tracy's coming back in December for the third time. I can't wait to give us the inside scoop at a special pre-launch event for that. I can't wait. Kellye, give us another secret. Tell us something you cut from the book, something you changed, something you've never revealed before. We need a secret.
Gosh, I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to think. Like, I block so much stuff out with this book, I mean, and I think the tricky thing too, like, there's a character in this book who's based on like a big name in the news right now that I can't say because it's a big spoiler. But like, I think when you read the book, you're like, I know exactly who that's. Read the book and then send me a DM and say, is it this person? And I will confirm with you who it is. So I think when you read it and you realize you get to the twist, you're like, I know exactly who she based that on. So
okay, everybody, you heard it here first. Read the book, and there is a character when you get to the twist who is based on a real life person in the news. Kellye's not spilling it tonight because it's too big of a spoiler, but then DM her. I'm going to drop her links in the comments below and ask her if it's that person. She's cast the gauntlet, y'all. Challenge accepted. Am I right? Let's do this. Fifth Rib Roarin saying, that is a unique cover. I didn't know you were live. Have to run. Bummer. That's okay. You can catch the replay later. You're getting so much love for your gorgeous cover, Kellye. Christina saying, We Lie Here is
thank you, Christina. I knew I had a W. I knew it had a W in it.
With a July 12th release. Excellent. Can't wait.
I'm going to see her this weekend at the Tucson Book Festival.
Yay. Makeup giving us a hey. Someone is saying, Kelly, I'm going to pop in here. If you're watching from a private Facebook group, the privacy settings are so high, you have to click the permission for us to see your headshot. Or you know what?
Who are you, person who thinks I'm fabulous? I need to know. I can send you some money.
Exactly. We're going to Venmo you later. No, but or you can stay on brand and just be mysterious, because this is a mystery and thriller segment after all. Okay, I'm just scanning, making sure I don't include everybody. May saying she's a Midnight Ink alum.
Yep.
Yay. Oh, Margaret is saying that StreamYard is working on it. Thank you so much for letting me know. That is so great. So Kelly, another of my favorite reviews that your book got, and there are just so many, Alifair Burke raving that Like a Sister is one of those reads whose tight plotting and suspenseful pacing might tempt you to rush to its twisty end, but take your time and enjoy the ride. Kellye Garrett fills these pages with heart, humor, and whip smart insights into class, race, family, and our contemporary media culture. She deserves every bit of praise that this book is certain to earn. Amazing review there. So let's talk about, thank you for all the hearts, you guys. That's so lovely. So let's talk about the tight plotting. In those 2 years of drafting this, did you go back and say, I've gone horribly wrong here, I need to tighten it up? Or was it always pretty tight?
I'm a plotter. I think it's my TV background. If anything, I suck at character and I suck at description. Like, I literally suck. I don't want to ever describe a room. I'm like, it has a couch in it. What else do you need to know? And so I think I do know in the beginning, I kind of struggled with what Desiree thinks happened to her. And I tried to try a couple different things. Like, oh, does she assume it's an accident at first? Does she assume it's suicide? What does she assume? And I worked with my editor a lot on what she thinks right away. And I think she kind of now, I think in this version, she thinks it's kind of foul play right away. So.
Very cool. Jennifer Hillier also saying,
hi.
She said, I can't say enough good things about Kellye Garrett's highly anticipated new novel. Like a Sister is smart and twisty. So did you have to go back and insert some of those twists, or they just were coming out of you just organically?
No, like I said, I knew a couple of this because I knew who the killer was and I knew who I wanted to base this character on. So I knew a couple of the bigger twists in it. I'm lucky that I have friends like Alex Segura and like Aman Akhtar and like Liz Little, and I always just ask questions to them, like, oh, like, what do you guys think about this? Should it be this or should it be that? And so I would ask them questions, and they would help me try to figure out and pinpoint what should happen in certain things. So
Alex is amazing. He came on in September, and he is doing so many big things.
His book is out March 15th. It's called Secret Identity. Him and Gigi Pondian are on the same day. Gigi's under Lock and Skeleton Key. Definitely check those two books out. They're different, but they're both great. One is a historical literary mystery, that's Alex's, about a Cuban American woman who's trying to break into the comic industry in the 70s and was really hard. And Gigi's is about a magician who comes back to her family's business, which is they do secret compartments, and it's a locked room mystery. So definitely check those two books out March 15th.
Oh, excellent. Shannon would like to know, who was the hardest character to write and why?
I want to say it was Lena. I think because I spent so much time with her, and I didn't want her to be, I think sometimes people want characters to be perfect, and Lena can be very petty. Like I always say, I have certain lines that are for me, and my favorite line in the entire book is Lena is mad at her stepmother, and she says, I the glass next to the coaster on the table. And I thought that was, and it's one line and it's not addressed. And I just thought it was so petty. Like, who does that? That's some petty shit, right? And she does that. But that's Lena. Like, she gets mad and she can be spoiled sometimes, and but it's okay. And then she feels bad about it. But that, she still had, we all have those petty moments. And so we're in her head, because we're in her head. She's going to think her petty moments and share them with us.
Yeah. When you were saying that's a petty moment, I was guiltily looking around, because I would totally do that.
Literally just be like,
maybe I'm just petty, but apparently I am, but it's like, don't mess with an Italian woman. Like, she will forgive you never. And definitely leave a coaster next to your leave a glass next to the coaster. Tracy is laughing at us. Margaret Jordy Good. She said this one, Her Three Lives, is a great book trailer. Excellent.
Oh yes, it is. It's Her Three Lives. That's the Kate Houlihan book. Yeah, thank you, Margaret.
Yay. Shay says, you don't got to tell me twice, right, Shay? Oh my gosh. Okay. These are all amazing. Thank you, everybody. Oh my gosh, I just realized we are over time, but the conversation has been flowing. And Kelly's got to get over to go hang out with Vanessa Lilly.
Yes, go to her IG. We're doing Twas the Night Before book launch, and there's actually a giveaway for 3 books. So Vanessa Lilly, Lillie. It's Vanessa Lilly at her Instagram. So.
Meg Hobbs praising all of your twists and so many red herrings. Love that. Christina says your makeup is always on point. Where do you like to shop?
I like to shop at. First of all, I'm part of the YouTube tutorial family where I just watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and I think this is Ulta, and I use a makeup brand called Juvia's Place a lot. So that's like my eye makeup and my contour.
So more secrets are being secrets to looking fabulous. Margaret saying the historical literary mystery. What?
Margaret, it's Alex Segura, Secret Identity. Check it out on March 15th. Yes. Although it might be in Barnes and Noble right now, so we'll check to see if it's there.
Shannon saying Lena sounds like a fun character. She's so fun. She's feisty. She's fabulous. She's spirited. She is just so great. Margaret saying this was so great. Wendy saying this is so great. Everybody, I want to remind you, this book is out tomorrow and you are going to want to read it. And I am buying someone a copy tonight. So I'm going to go through the comments of this. Kelly, actually, I'm going to have Kelly. Hey, we vote with our wallets, right? So everybody pre-order it right now. And I will also
Murder by the Book. So thank you, McKenna and John.
Yay! So once again, Monica saying this was so great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie, for coming.
Yay! So pre-order tonight, everybody, and Kelly is going to pick a winner as soon as we are off air. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Kelly, hold tight while we pick that winner. I will see you next Monday for #Mystery Monday, because you know Mondays can be murder. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Kelly.